Hey, yo, everybody. What's up? Happy Sunday night. It's LG here. It's your man, LG Doucette. Fresh off a fresh day where I took the day off completely. Unplugged, digital detox, I call it. What's up, everybody? Yeah, throw those hands up, man. What's up, everybody? It's good to chat with you guys. It's been a couple days. Took the full day off yesterday. No digital anything. Phone off from the slept in like a dog. Didn't even look at my phone. Literally had it off. Ignored everybody. Ignored even my parents. Didn't even want to talk to my parents. Even though it was my birthday, I was like, nope, I'm alone today. Well, not alone, but I was taking the day chill. Mainly just like slept and rested and read some books and stuff like that. I don't know who reads anymore. I was reading. But now we back. Now we back. And we know NFL all day is about to pop off. Everybody's seen all these little hints of stuff coming from the Dapper team. People getting these ambiguous emails of like, you may or may not be getting access. Who knows? But we're here to break it all down because honestly, I hope I get some access. I know I'm not the biggest football fan, but hey, this is a good way for me to get back into it. It's been 10 years, honestly, since I've really followed anything. And we kind of want to just open it up tonight to chat with you guys, chat with the real Phil D who's on, and chat with anybody else who wants to join in and throw in their 2 cents as to what we might expect this week. And like I said, some cryptic communications from Dapper Labs, like a little bit here and there. But I feel like we got a lot more to come, and I feel like we the way they've been ramping up, I would say, to me means it's imminent, and it's almost the second week of December, really. So to me, that's like okay, it's now or never to drop some of these packs, at least to the early adopters, the people that get early access to tonight. We're going to chat on, speculate on who's getting early access. We know that everybody from the Nine Lives Lounge is supposed to get early access, but who else, right? Is it going to be certain set holders from Top Shot who get access? Maybe all the way back to CryptoKitties or holders of other Dapper projects, or it might be just a totally random lottery. It might be Top Shot VIPs. Who knows? We'll talk about the players who have been involved doing promo on Twitter. We'll talk about what we know about the sets, right? We'll put out some info. And All Day has also put out some info about what sets might be out there, legendaries, all that kind of stuff. And then also talk pricing, supply, maybe just more like a wish list of what we want to see. Then, of course, the top players that you guys want to see. And that'll be a part that for me is going to be like a bit more of a re-education as to what's going on in the NFL. Surprised that Tom Brady still plays, but a lot of players that I don't really know too well. And again, we want to hear from you guys tonight. I want to hear from the community, questions, thoughts, comments, what you think is fair, isn't fair, the stuff I think we love talking about in the community. Yo, Phil D, what's up?
Whoa!
It's a Sunday night special, baby. It's a
Yeah,
Sunday
dude, I'm like,
special.
I was hoping the Steelers game would be done before we came on the air, but I'm forced to just follow it on a different stream here. It's a pretty good game coming down right to the end.
I see that. Oh, there's still a few games going. A few games aren't over.
You know what, man?
The Hawks, yeah.
It used to be that the games would all be done about an hour or 45 minutes before the Sunday nighter. But a lot of these games just get extended and extended, man. It just takes forever. I don't know what it is. The Steelers game had a bit of a delay because one of the 90-year-old officials had a crash landing during a play and they had to take him out. But I always say, I don't know, it's so weird. 90. When you watch football, the officials, the higher the level of play, the older the officials are by like a country mile. Like the average age of NFL referees has to be like 80, right?
Hey, man, there's some vets out there. There's some vets, been doing it for a long time. Are there in the NFL? Like, I did watch a long time ago, but I know in the NBA, it's like sometimes we're like, this guy's reffing tonight. That's bad news for this team. Is the NFL the same thing where it's like some of the refs are kind of trash and they're going to kind of sway the game in certain ways? Does that happen?
Well, it's tough because in the NFL, it's more so an officiating crew, right? So you got so many guys who can throw flags on the field that it's hard. You don't ever get to see them either. Like, you know what I mean? So you see the flags come out. You have the one official who announces all the penalties, the main referee. So you could blame him, but he's not the one who makes the call on these penalties, right? So,
got it. Okay.
But yeah, there's a few funny ones. I mean, there's Ed Hockley with his gigantic muscles. He was a fan favorite before. And then there's an Ed Hockley Jr. now, and he's just as jacked.
What? It's his kid? It's actually
his kid, man.
No.
Yeah, I don't remember where I last saw him, but
no.
But there's that guy. Amazing. There's a few other recognizable faces. There's the one guy there who I don't know. I forgot his name, but yeah, some pretty good officials. But the way they call the game these days, LG, I don't know when the last time is you followed a full season, but the way they call the game now is a lot different than when they used to call the game 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. You basically cannot touch quarterbacks, even if it's a slight bump. In hockey, how you can finish your
Really?
check, and they used to let
Yeah.
you do that in football, where he releases the ball and you've got about a second or two to lay a hit on him. You can't even do that anymore. You'll get flagged for
Oh, really? Okay.
for unnecessary roughness. So things are changing a little bit, but
That's all right.
hey, we still
Okay.
watch, we still enjoy the game, right?
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Okay.
man.
That's good. That's a good little catch up breakdown for me. Let's get right into it, Phil D. I mean, the first thing I want to talk about, honestly, is timing, right? Because we saw on Friday there was the email that went out, I think, to everybody who'd signed up for the mailing list. That was basically like, it kind of felt like it was an email that was early access, but then it wasn't. It was like, early access is coming. Be ready. You may or may not be on the list. And then it was also like, please invite your friends. It was like the referral link. That was like mainly what it was, which I thought was hilarious. Because when I opened that, I was like, oh, sweet, I got access. And then it turned out that I didn't. What are you thinking in terms of timing? When are people gonna? I guess early access is going to be basically a pack drop, right? Is that what it's going to be? Like, what's the first thing that's actually going to happen here? Or is it going to be a sign up link? Like, here, come and sign up for the platform, or maybe come and sign up for a platform and buy a pack. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think is going to be the first thing that we that we see?
Yeah, that's my feeling. It'll be a website we're redirected to ask you to create. Oh, actually, it might probably ask you to sign into your Dapper wallet. I assume, right? You're not creating a new profile or anything. If we're playing under the Dapper wallet, then you're going to be signing in with your Dapper credentials, the way you do for Ballers right now, right?
That's
Because
right.
when we
But
sell it for
you
Ballers,
might create a profile. You might create a profile still. You might like choose your name. Like
your
it, I
team.
would. Yeah, exactly. Like you're still gonna have to do all that stuff, and maybe even set a profile photo, which you can't do on Top Shot, right? So,
Yeah,
um, maybe you'll have a few things like that. But you're right. Like set your team. Maybe choose more than one team. Like choose your favorite team, your favorite player, or something like that. So, maybe that stuff's gonna come down the
Yeah,
pipe. Do you
I
think?
think I
Yeah.
think that's how it's going to start. You asked about timelines. Timelines, I'm not going to lie. I felt that this email was a bit more of a stall tactic again, just a little bit.
Mm,
But there's nothing wrong with keeping people engaged and interested. You have to do that. You
mm-hmm,
can't just go silent for the next, you can't just go silent for the next month if you're not planning on coming out for a month. So why
mm-hmm,
not release that email? Kind of give people a hint on how things are going to go. Um, I've
mm-hmm.
seen a lot of numbers out there in terms of how many people will be let into this early access. But I don't know, LG. Have you seen anything official in terms of how many people they're
No,
looking to onboard?
we don't know. We don't know the total. And if anybody has this info, like, please feel free to raise your hands. Or guys, if you have any comments or anything you want to throw in or questions, there's an open discussion tonight. So eager to hear from the community as well. But I don't know. I feel like that's the big mystery right now. Is like, what are the numbers? And I feel like all that info has to come out at the same time. Like, I hope we get really clear comms that are like, okay, today it's Monday. We have, 2,000 people at Nine Lives Lounge. They're all coming in to set up their profiles and they can buy one pack. And then the next day is going to be, we've got 5,000 VIPs from Top Shot and some randoms. They're coming in and some kind of tiered access. And then everybody can come in, buy a pack. Maybe there's no marketplace yet, but it's coming a little later. Because again, there's so many different layers, right? I think people are thinking that like early access is going to mean, hey, come in, buy all the cosmics, and then sell them all for 10x like the following week. And I don't think it's going to be that straightforward. I think it's going to be come in kind of like Dr. Seuss, right? Like that's everybody's. I heard some people saying this could be a bit like the Dr. Seuss app for anybody who got in, where it's like you can come in, you can show up to the pack drops and buy a bunch for like $5, but then you can trade them, but you can't really buy them yet, right? There's not a functioning marketplace. So I feel like it's going to be kind of tapered like that. A little bit at a time, but I would assume with some of the traction lately, like some of the action we've been seeing, that it is going to come. I would say in the next couple of days, because I find that knowing kind of how Dapper behaves from like a behavioral standpoint, that we wait and we wait and we wait and they promise and they promise and they promise and then nothing happens and then suddenly it's like boom, 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 it's done. So I feel like the fact that we got that email means like be ready for tomorrow morning or be ready for Tuesday morning for something to happen.
Wow.
Maybe a great time to
Wow.
send that out. That could literally be tonight, right? Because the other thing too is that you and I always
Oh
comment
man.
how Dapper drops a bunch of NBA Top Shot news on Friday nights, right? And how that's like kind of inconvenient if you're trying to do it as a job. But then that makes sense because if you're settling down on a Friday night to watch some basketball, then that's a great time for you to pop open your phone and read about a pack drop that's coming up or some kind of new perk or something. So maybe we get some NFL all day stuff tonight, like right when the game kicks off tonight, or tomorrow night for Monday Night Football. So that I feel like it's imminent, which is why
Wow.
when I texted you the other night, I was like, we got to do this show Sunday because I feel like it's about to happen. Because how many games are
Yeah,
left in the
you're a
season?
lot. You're a lot.
How many games are left in
Yeah,
the season?
go ahead. There's about, I'd say there's about, I think there's 4 or 5 weeks. It's an extended season this year, right? So
Mm,
they play 2 more games than they've ever played in the past. So
okay.
it's an 18-week season total, is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an extended season. Is it 1 or 2 extra games? Yeah, I think it's 2. So you still have, I mean, the last week of the regular season is not going to be until sometime in January.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still a while to go. But LG, you're a lot more optimistic than I am. Like I said, I saw all the players. Yeah, no, sorry. Okay, sorry. There's clarification. Thanks, Hugo, who just said it's 1 extra game per team, but they're going 18 weeks this year.
Right.
Every team gets 1 bye, so it makes sense. It's 1 extra game per team. Okay, so but you're a lot more optimistic than I am. I saw all the star players, and I say star players because a lot of the top shot players we've seen, the NBA players involved, were not of the highest caliber. Now they did onboard KD in the last couple of days, which is
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Easily one of the bigger names they've got on their
Well,
platform
yeah.
now. But the NFL started with Pat Mahomes. Sorry, I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't call him Pat. You know what they said on the broadcast earlier in the year? His mom hates when they say Pat Mahomes. It's Patrick
Oh,
Mahomes.
oh,
So
really?
I'll
Okay.
never forget that. Chris Collinsworth filled us in on that earlier this year. But whatever.
Okay, good
But
for
yeah,
me to know.
Mahomes was the first to tweet. And then we recently saw, DK Metcalf and the McCourty brothers and a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of others were tweeting, which kind of triggered me, and I thought it was imminent too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to get my hopes up, so I kind of
Okay.
just I'll take the news as we get it. If they do shock us out of nowhere, LG, I don't think it's this week. I really don't. I think
No.
it's
Okay.
coming up maybe closer to the holidays. Because remember when they first
Mm.
announced the NFL project, they
Mm-hmm.
hinted in some ways that it would be near the end of the season. That's the
Mm-hmm.
feeling I
Mm-hmm.
got. And they've been teasing us ever since by asking us, hey, make sure to tag us on your favorite plays of the week. And when we first started, that Justin Tucker, NFL record field goal had just
Yes.
happened. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I want that. But now
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, so much has happened since. It doesn't have the same value for me anymore now. It's
Right.
still cool. But man, so many things have happened since. So the more they drag it on, I think, obviously people are still going to stick around, but I don't think it's imminent. But you have a better hunch on these things than I do. I'm usually wrong. So
I don't know. Like the thing is that yeah, I kind of study more like Dapper's behavior, right? So the fact that last week they're like, okay, get everybody out there, get all the players to start tweeting, right? Because you had um, like DK Metcalf, you get Malcolm Jenkins, like get all these guys start to actually like post about it. So it's like that to me is like somebody is following a social media calendar that's telling those guys to tweet because you're trying to funnel people in for ultimate hype right as you're going to release early access, right? So, but again, the thing is, what I'm saying is that early access, I think, is not like it's not like say early access happens tonight or tomorrow. It's not like, hey, we're letting 3,000 accounts in. They can buy and trade and sell immediately. I don't think that that's what it means. I don't think it's like suddenly it's just like Top Shot is right now. It's like no, 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 no. I think you go in and you can buy your moments and you can look at them for some people. And I think it's like that for like a month. Like I think it's just like early access means you can go in and they've said this. I'm just going to kind of reread this email that went out the other night. The second part of it that says closed beta hashtag goals, testing the product in order to craft the best possible experience. We need you there and testing out our product. Feedback, our goal is quality and to improve every week. Help us make it happen. Ripping packs, there's nothing quite like ripping a pack. So to me, it's going to be like a couple thousand people are going to get in. They're going to have some kind of gated access in the Discord. They're going to get like maybe a couple dozen like common packs each or something like that so that they can just rip open tons of stuff, give all that feedback. The Top Shot community is tremendous at giving feedback, probably better than any NFT community giving direct feedback to Top Shot. Top Shot's very good at listening. In some cases, obviously, right? They always have. So I feel like it's like we're going to do that for like a month, right? And it's exciting, but I don't think it's going to be like, okay, suddenly there's $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 sales. Like I don't think that happens for a while. I think closed beta, early access means you get to go in, you get to rip packs. I don't think it means you get to get access to all the legendary moments that are going to be worth 100x more than all the others. I don't think that's what that means at all. I think maybe you get into a better queue, but I think if there's going to be like a cosmic drop of NFL all day, I think it's going to come in a couple months once a lot of people are in there and the product's been refined a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my
Yes.
prediction. I don't think it's like, hey, guess what, Nine Live Lounge, you guys are in there and here's all the best moments that are ever going to exist in this game. Like, no, 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 no. I can't.
Yeah.
That would like I want people in the Nine Lives Lounge to get some great benefits, and I think they will, and I think they already have. But I don't think it's going to be congrats, you're all millionaires now. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's realistic, and I don't think that would be very healthy either.
But
As
it's
much as
not.
yeah,
Listen, I always say this, LG, and this is me coming in way after you did with all this.
mm-hmm,
If you know of something ahead of time and
mm-hmm.
you think you're going to become a millionaire before even getting into it, and everyone else is thinking the same thing, it's likely not going to happen. Okay,
Yes,
just like Top Shot, whoever was in there really early and bought a ton of shit, nobody else knew about it, and
mm-hmm,
that's why everything they have is so valuable, right? Had everyone known about it, it just wouldn't be the same, right?
mm-hmm,
So but I see both sides here. A lot of people are just pure fans and they want to get into this early. Others see an opportunity where they can get some legendaries and get rich before everyone else can. But I just want to say something though. Dapper is kind of setting themselves up with this closed beta. They're kind of setting themselves up in a way for, I can't say failure, but they're setting themselves up for a lot of backlash. And you know
mm-hmm.
this, right?
You
Because
think so?
how are you picking collectors to include in this closed beta? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
What's the criteria? Is it only going to be OGs and people who've been there forever? Is it only going to be the Nine Lives Lounge? Do you know what I mean? Is it only going to be people who have spent tens of thousands of dollars on the market? And then how long are those people going to be in that closed beta? For me, is a big deal. Without an entry point for other people, I mean,
mm-hmm,
because if you're not letting others in while those people are in there,
mm-hmm.
that's going to piss people off. Trust me on that. Right?
Oh,
I'm talking to you
totally.
from the streets here, from the
Well,
trenches.
I think you can also. That's the thing. It's like I'm saying. It's like okay, I think it's. But hold on. It's been very clear from the very start that people in Nine Lives Lounge get access first, right? So them getting in,
Right.
people will be salty about it. It's hard not to be salty about it, especially for someone like me who held all those moments when they were like 3 grand and then I dumped them all. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're going to be jealous, and that's normal, and you're going to get a bit of that fun, and that's okay. But they've been super freaking clear that those people are going to get access. So you cannot point the finger saying, hey, you didn't communicate this properly, because that was communicated very well. I think from there, what's going to need to be communicated really well is how they choose from the wait list who gets in. Because then let's say there's 50,000 people on the wait list and only 5,000 of them get in. Okay, is it a random lottery? Is it based on your Top Shot collector score? Or is it a tiered system where it's like, okay, we're letting in 1,000 people randomized. We're taking everybody with a collector score of above 10 or 20,000, you guys are getting in, and we're taking everybody who has a rare and a common complete set in Top Shot in. You know what I mean? Is it going to be like clear hierarchy like that? I think one way or another, people are going to be upset that they can't get in and others can, and they're going to give where it's going to be the classic rich get richer. Either way, people will be mad. I think there's a way to communicate it properly. I also think that early access, again, like you're saying, like we're saying, does not mean you're rich. You know what I mean? I think that is where I think they're gonna do a really good job, is just being like, yes, it's nice you get early access. You get in here first. You totally get some of the first moments, but you're not gonna get the best moments, let's say. I think
Yeah.
that is something where you got to wait a while. You got to give most of the people who want in a pretty fair chance at what you consider the best moments, right?
Well,
Um,
what's key to LG and what they said is that whatever's available to people in closed beta will also eventually be available to everybody else.
mhm,
So there's no secret whatever they're giving in this closed beta, whenever everyone gets to join, they'll have access to the same stuff in form of either pack drop or whatever it is. I think that was pretty important. I don't have the exact wording in front of me, but there was something in there about how, or I saw this in one of the discords. I don't know where it was. There was some sort of communication saying that there will be access for others too. So,
mhm.
you know, again, closed beta is always going to be debatable. I know, it's like Seussipals. Everybody's in there for Dr. Seuss and all that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because the Dr. Seuss and some of the other ones, they're closed beta, but they're onboarding people weekly. You know what I mean? They're bringing in new people. So yeah, we'll see if this is just a select group of people that stay in there for the entire beta, and how long will it be a closed beta? I'm still looking for that information for sure, right? Like, are we talking from now to next season? It's very possible,
Well, that's
right?
it. Well, I
Who
think
knows?
so. I think so. That's it. It's like, listen, man, Top Shot wasn't built in a day, right? And it's still tweaking, right? There's still a lot of improvements being made, and I've personally been on the platform for 15 months, right? And it's still improving. So, and even Top Shot, it's like at first they dropped moments. There is no marketplace. You could like people were trading moments for like ETH and stuff like early on. So I think with NFL, it's like it's gonna be exciting, yes, but I think if people think that like in a month it's going to be like, well, here's a thriving marketplace with all the same features of Top Shot, is like I don't know if that's necessarily realistic. I think we got to kind of bring our expectations down a little bit there. Really
Agreed.
quick, we got a few people who want to come up and chat. But just again, just going to recap this email that we got. And this is the part where it's kind of like funny. It's who will get access and when. It's almost closed beta season. We want to prime you with the deets in case you're one of the selected few granted access. Plus, if you're not selected initially, you'll have additional chances to be granted access if you're on the wait list. Note, those selected to participate in closed beta will be chosen based on a variety of factors in their DApper activity, not solely on total spend. So
Yeah, we'll
that could
see.
be, but that's a variety of things. That could be like, listen, there's all these things we've been doing in Top Shot that we don't know if those are going to be benefits there or not, right? So it could be, have you done challenges, right? Have you
Yes.
been shown up to pack drops? Have you been unlucky in pack drops, right? Like you never know. What if they did like a like, hey, you missed out on a bunch of pack drops, even though you showed up and waited in the queue, so you get access, right? It could be like bring the pack drop losers in, right? That could be
But
a way you do it.
I don't like the one you just said. The active and challenges, LG, for me, all right, listen, that's a financial decision that I don't participate in Top Shot challenges, because at one point it became completely pointless to spend all that money to go for a reward that you could get, as soon as it hit the market, you'd get it for a lot less than you paid for all the moments. So that one would be a little edgy. In terms of bad luck in pack drops, yeah, you could use that. I'm not a fan of if you've spent the most on NBA Top Shot, then you get, easy access to this. I just think it'll have to be a mix of people. If the point of closed beta is kind of to analyze at the same time and see what people are doing, right? So I think you need all sorts of different people. I think you need some NFL players in there. I think you need some actual NFL fans that are having their first NFT experience ever with NFL all day. And I think you need some people from Top Shot, and you need some people from other NFTs that have no interest in Top Shot, but that are interested in this project, because then the NFL is their thing or football is their thing, right? So I'm just going to read a message here, LG, before you get to some of our guests.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Bamboo Rasta just messaged me and thinks this is a theory that's coming in, and you know how much I love theories. Bamboo Rasta says, I think NFL All Day is coming with the Pro Bowl announcement on December 20th. So interesting little tidbit there. Always love to hear what the community has to say and what theories they have. So I don't know. That's a pretty good one right before the holidays. People probably going crazy around that time. And I know football games are very popular. I even think there are football games on Christmas Day this year, which is pretty rare. You don't see that too often. I
on a
can't confirm that
Saturday.
for sure.
Really?
Well, yeah, because the NFL schedule, the way it's built, is they now have games starting, I think, next week on Saturdays.
You're right.
Right?
So there's Browns and
Yes.
Packers and Colts and Cards.
Yeah. So December 18th is when it starts on a Saturday, and then the week after, and then Saturdays are a thing. That's been like that for a couple of years. They love doing that, right?
That's funny, man. That's like a little competitive with the NBA as well. Right?
It's competitive with the NBA, but it also has to do with college football being over. It's the bowl season now, right? So the big bowl games are typically after Christmas,
right,
and around New Year's, and then the playoffs obviously in early January. And actually this year they're before New Year's. But Saturdays open up now. You weren't going to mess around with Saturdays in college football before this.
No, that's
but
it.
Now,
you're not going to go against it.
Right?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you have a game at the same time as the Independence Bowl, right? You know what I'm saying, right? So they took the slot on the Saturday, because who doesn't want an NFL week where you have a game on Thursday, 2 games on Saturday at middle afternoon and evening, and then a full slate of games on Sunday, a Sunday night game, and then a Monday night game, right? That's an NFL fan's dream. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Love it.
And I don't think it's like, at least from a fan perspective, I don't think it's really competition. If anything, it's nice to have like a lot of different sports on at the same time, especially Christmas Day, which is a day you're going to have a fun morning and then probably like hang out through the day with your fam. Like that's pretty good. But that also means like Phil D, listen, on Top Shot, we're expecting like a Christmas Day legendary set, man. So staff at Dapper, to me, it's a busy holiday season for them, right? I don't know if it's too many days off during that time because that's a
you
lot.
might have both.
Well,
You
that's
might
it.
have
Yeah.
both, man.
I mean, but hey, listen, I've always said that it's like some of the best opportunities for dropping NFTs, especially big time ones, is when people are with their families, because that's such an
Yes.
easy way for one person to have like a few hours with their family, their cousins, brothers, kids, whatever, and explain it to them, and then send them a sign up link, get them signed up, get them to show up for the pack drop, show them what it's like to open a pack. And I'm not just talking Top Shot all day here, like other stuff in general. It's a great time to do that. So I think literally dropping stuff like on Christmas Day, or the day after, or a couple days before, is like really ideal.
Yeah.
In terms of really bringing in tons of new people. I
That's a
think
real
that works
interesting
really
point,
well.
though.
Yeah.
That's a real interesting point you make about being around family and stuff, because
Mhm.
we know that, like, the way Christmas, not everybody celebrates Christmas, but Christmas has
Mhm.
traditionally been known as a huge NBA day, right?
Mhm.
And it is again this year. Now throw in 2 NFL games and whatever else is going on.
Mhm.
People are getting together around the holidays. Doesn't matter what you celebrate, right? It's
Yeah.
just it's a given. So last year, NFTs were not really a thing at this time last year yet, right? We were
No.
close, right?
No.
So
But it wasn't like this, man, where it's
no,
like
no, 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 no.
no.
Well, we didn't talk about it. We didn't really talk about it at Christmas. Do you know
I
what I'm
didn't see
saying?
you last year at Christmas. I didn't
I
see
know,
you.
but we still didn't talk about it, is what I'm
No.
saying, right? So, but you bring up a good point. This is actually every time we get together and something big happens is when we find out what the first mint mom, which is our mom, has purchased, because our dad rats her out and says, "Oh yeah, your mother
Oh
got
yeah.
one of those."
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's all over that. She's all over that. But it's a great point, man. If they do some kind of, if they open this up around Christmas, around the holidays when people are together, this is how you get people talking, right?
Absolutely.
Because
100%.
people scramble in the room and you want to show everybody what's on your phone, and then it's
Oh,
like, oh,
and you
here,
want
take a
listen,
look at
opening a
this, right?
pack with other people. Like I love
It's
watching other
crazy.
people open packs. Like I really enjoy it. Even if the packs like suck. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. It's still that's like the funnest part, man. It's like literally unboxing, and it's like a lottery ticket where you might pull like the legendary. So it's freaking exciting to open packs. So I think the best, or even if you don't do the drop, because drop is like an all hands on deck day for Dapper. So that's pretty complicated to ask people to do that on like Christmas Day. But what you could do is like Christmas Day, drop like hundreds of packs into people's accounts as like a Merry Christmas, Joyeux Noël, Feliz Navidad style. Like here you go. Everybody, Merry Christmas. Here's a bunch of packs. Or like, hey, everybody who signed up, who got early access to NFL, here's a pack fresh for you today as the games are kicking off, and people can show their granddad or their dad or their cousin or whoever it is, how much fun they're having, right? Like I think that's super vital to do. Cool.
Right.
I do want to talk about like sets and all that kind of stuff. There's been a lot of info that's been put out there, but let's hear from the community first. We had a PS Mighty 5 who wanted to chat. Put their hand up. The first person to kind of put their hand up. So PS Mighty 5, are you there? Sorry, I don't know how you want me to say that. Hello. Hey, yo, PS Mighty 5, Mighty 5P.
Yo, Mighty, the Almighty. No.
Going once.
Okay. Almighty was sick of waiting for us to bring him up, so he went to take a break somewhere.
Mighty, if you're there, feel free to chime in at any moment. So let us know what's up. Cool. And then next, when we got some big names coming up in a sec. But we got our old friend Stone Cold is here. Stone Cold Blake.
Guys.
There he is. I like it. He's here to talk business. There's no Stone Cold tonight. Blake, when it comes to NFL, I can tell it's serious business for Blake, okay? He wants to have a real conversation. He doesn't want to mess around. Blake, hey, you know what, Blake? I know you're a huge Pacers fan. I actually don't know where your NFL allegiance lies.
It's got to be the Colts.
No,
it's got to be Colts.
Phil, we already
know.
Oh,
Cowboys.
Yes.
Cowboys.
It's Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Okay. See?
Since
That's why I didn't
5
want to
years
assume.
old. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. My grandpa had an old seat from the old Texas Stadium, and I started watching them at 5. Saw my first Super Bowl, the second one, and I've been hooked ever since. Emmitt Smith was my all-time favorite player.
Oh, that's really nice, man. That's a really nice story, man.
Yep.
Get dapper, man. We need some fan stories here, okay? We got to get some fan stories and get you, they got to get you some packs or something.
I gotta give a good fan story really quick to Blake, since he's a big Cowboys fan. every year I volunteer at the Joe Carter Golf Classic in Toronto. Well, it's a little north of Toronto, but I volunteer there. So I spend a day there. I don't know what my job will be every year. It's always something different. Like a couple of years ago, I had to watch the Toronto Maple Leafs mascot and follow him everywhere and take pictures of him for social media all day while he did stupid stuff. But one year, I was assigned to stand outside the men's locker room. It's a celebrity golf tournament. And I was assigned to stand outside the men's locker room and direct all the celebrities into the correct locker room and show them where to go and stuff like that. Probably the worst job out there. So at one point, though, as guys were going in and out of the locker room, I was standing beside Jerome Bettis, Dan Marino, and Emmitt Smith. Okay.
Oh my!
They're all standing in a circle, and I'm like, man, I'm trying to grasp what's going on here. This is like
How
how
beautiful
many
was his
people?
beard? How beautiful was his beard, Phil?
Yeah, man, I don't remember.
Oh,
I
Emmett
just kept
known for
looking
that
at
beard.
Dan Marino and thinking of Ace Ventura, man. That's all I could think of.
Oh my God, that's all you could think of.
Come on, man. That's all you can think of is Ace Ventura.
Oh, one of the
But I was
greatest
texting all my
movies of all
buddies in the
time.
States saying, look, guys, and I didn't realize the scale of this. I'm like texting my buddies down in Nashville, and all they're fans of also. And they're like, dude, that's Dan Marino and the bus and Emmitt Smith. I'm like, I know. I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? We're not supposed to ask for autographs, take pictures, whatever. I don't care. All I can do is tell them, hey, here's the locker room. Hey, guys, have a great round, you know? But being in the presence of greatness, man, it was incredible.
Hey
Every
guys,
fan's
I
dream.
have a question for you, Phil. Do you guys remember in elementary school when you go to the library, and did you guys have like where they would have addresses of the players that you could send them like a letter? Did you have that?
Yes.
Yes,
I've
I
sent a
sent Emmitt
million
Smith and
things
Troy Aikman. I know I used to send them letters all the time. I never got an
all
answer
the
back.
time. All the time. I got autographs back from the hockey players. I don't know about the football players, but whoever I would get a trading card of, I would always send it to them and ask them to sign it. And I usually got it back, but I don't remember NFL players.
Yeah,
We
I
didn't
would
have too
never
many
get anything
NFL
back
cards.
on the NFL players. I never got anything back.
Oh, well, maybe you can try again, Blake.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, baby.
Maybe that'll be part of the experience with NFL all day, right? You never know, man.
100%.
What if they start sending you some real collectibles that are signed or something?
As big as NBA is, like NFL has never left. Trust me, my wife knows. Like I've been an NFL fan forever, so like I'm pumped for like some of these sets. Like you were saying, like Ball Hawk. Like you know how many Trayvon Diggs we're gonna get this year from this season from his 8 interceptions already. It's gonna be sick.
Oh, I know, man. And you know, if you watch the show Hard Knocks on HBO before the season, he was one of the guys that stood out because of his son, right? Which is, and for those who don't know, that's Stephon Diggs' brother, and that's Stephon Diggs' nephew. And this kid is hilarious, man. This kid has been all over TV this year, and he's kind of made it easier to follow that. But yeah, he's on a rampage. I think he had a pick the other night on Thursday Night Football. Is that right, Blake?
Yeah, that was his 8th one. He almost had 2
That's
early
right.
in the game. He was so mad at himself, so he got one late in the game.
Yes, I know. I love that. That's a player that I'd be looking to collect something from just because of the season he's having. Obviously, the Diggs family have a lot going on in terms of the genetics of playing football, and it's interesting when they're on both sides of the ball. You can picture the two probably when they were younger. I'm talking teenage years, probably going up one-on-one. Although I don't know their history of what position they played. Most players in the NFL played like 7 positions in high school. You know what I'm saying? So
it's crazy how
you don't really
genetic
know
it
what their
is.
main position was.
It's crazy how some of these families are just like dominant throughout history of these sports. It's kind of
I
mind
know,
blowing,
man.
man. It's wild.
It really is. And the McCourty brothers are in on this. And I didn't even realize the McCourty brothers for me, when my son was 5 and he's 17 now, I took him he played football at 5. And I took him to a camp in New England. And the McCourty brothers were running it with Lawyer Malloy and a bunch of other guys. And they were the nicest guys ever. And when their names popped up the other day, I'm like, holy crap. I haven't heard from these guys in a while. But I remember how good they were. And they were a huge part of all those Super Bowl teams with the Patriots, right? So, yeah, man, I can't wait to see who else is involved in this. I assume a lot of players will be interested because NFL players, people complain of how many moments there are for the NBA. Man, we're talking lots of moments, lots of players in the NFL.
LG,
you know what I'm saying?
LG, I had one question for you guys, and I'll kind of sit back and let you answer. What do you guys think is going to happen? I really think we're about to see a mass sell-off in Top Shot to go to. I wanted that subject to get brought up. I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I'm just reading I actually just came on your tweet from 20 minutes ago, Blake. That's a good question. I think like kind of what we were saying earlier is that I really hope that they want to avoid major market shifts. So it's like I was saying, where it's like I don't think it's going to be like okay, it's open season on NFL all day. There's all these moments. Come buy them. They're really expensive and spend all your money here. It's like I don't even know if a marketplace is going to be open for a while with this. Because if you're Dapper, same thing. Like, first of all, you want to make sure marketplace works well. You want to release it slowly in beta, and also, I think you want to avoid exactly what you're saying, Blake. Is that like for people to just torch everything
I
they have?
know. I could see it being really bad.
But at the end of last week, what did we see? We saw the market kind of cratering again, and that's like that's something we talked about it a lot in a lot of different circles. But I think one thing we didn't talk about is like, hey, look, NFL all day is ramping up. Players are tweeting. It's clearly about to happen. Maybe the market has already reacted to that, where people are like, I need to have a couple $1,000 ready to go for me to grab the stuff I want in all day on the marketplace if it's there. What do you think though, Blake? Like I feel like you're predicting that. Like I feel like you're pretty harsh. You're pretty firm belief that it's going to happen.
I just think, I think Phil Dio agreed. The power of the NFL over the NBA. Like, I mean, it's not even close, y'all. Like the conscience of the NBA. I love Top Shot because it did make me a fan of the NBA again. It got me back into my Pacers. Like as a child, growing up to about 18, I was a huge Pacer fan, but I kind of went away from when I went to college. I just got away from NBA, but I always stuck with the Cowboys. But that NFL, I mean, that fan base, man. Oh my goodness, it's just ridiculous how big it is.
It could also, what I will say, Blake, though, is that it could bring in a lot of new people, right? Because it's
100%.
not like we're very insular here, right? We're all like, hey, like we all talk to each other. We're all people who came in through Top Shot, but hopefully with all day, like you're already seeing it featured on some of the TV broadcasts. They're already saying, hey, go sign up for it, and that's something we haven't really seen for NBA Top Shot. So hopefully, NFL all day, once it's an open beta, has like in a sense like a significantly different portion of collectors than Top Shot does.
Well, if
And
it all
maybe
goes
that's sort of,
well,
yeah.
think about it. If it all goes well, it does feed over like that massive base comes in and it's like, oh wow, what's Top Shot? Oh yeah, what's Ballers? Like, I mean, that's the dream if that all goes well.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing too is like you guys, absolutely, I agree with you. NFL bigger than NBA, 100%, but not universally. For me, NBA at the top, without a doubt. Like I'm not a big football fan, right? And I'm planning through all day. That's going to be a great way for me to relearn who some of the current players are and what people are into, and even some of the great players from this season. But is not like there's not a bunch, like I'm not about to sell my probably my most expensive, my highest value moment, which is like the Kevin Durant run it back. Like I'm not about to sell that so I can go buy like a Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like that's not about to happen for me.
Understood.
Yeah. But
yeah, you know what's funny though, LG, is that you talk about the global audience, and there is an NFL audience in other countries, but it'll be funny when they do their analytics and they notice that all the Jacksonville Jaguars moments are all being sold in the UK because the Jacksonville Jaguars basically live in those London games, man.
I know.
And every time we see them on
it's
TV,
true. Even I know that.
Dude, every time we see them on TV, I'm like, they have these gigantic flags. I'm like, are these real fans, or is this like, did they give them these flags and be like, all right, you need to wave these because we need to show? Because I'm like, nobody buys Jacksonville Jaguars flags, right? So
well, that's the Khan family. They're from over there, so that's
right.
That's the
big
influence. Yeah,
you're right. That's a good point, actually, and there is support for the family, right? But still, man, it's like every year when that schedule comes out, you know which teams are going to be on there. It's always the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins end up on there all the time, right? The teams that kind of have trouble putting fans in their own seats quite a bit, right? So, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see. That the UK will obviously be all over this, but yeah, globally not the same. But the passion and the love for the NFL in North America is next level. And Mexico is remember they used to do a Monday night game in Mexico. They didn't go there in the last couple of years, but they have had games in Mexico. And when I saw the fandom in Mexico, I was like, wow, I had no idea, man. There's some hardcore NFL fans in Mexico. So
LG,
they'll be fine. Trust me.
You brought up Saturday night games. My CEO just approved it. We just got sent the tickets. So my whole team, we won our sales competition from Black Friday. We're taking them to the Saturday night game, Colts versus Pats in Indy. We have the whole pregame package. It's all top shelf liquor, all you can eat. Oh, it's a party, bro. And then you go over
congrats,
to the game
man.
afterwards. Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Well, I'm just glad my whole team got it. I've done it a million times, but yeah, my whole team gets to go, so it's gonna be sick.
Oh, good for you, man. That's fun. It's fun to do that with colleagues, for sure, man. That's which one's is that next week or 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks from now. Yep, it's a Saturday 8:30. Oh my gosh, football dream. Saturday night, Sunday off. Are you kidding me?
Wow, dude, that's awesome, man. Good
That's
for
really
you.
cool.
Blake, I know you're like taking a step back from all this. What do you think is the best approach to kind of balance the Nine Lives Lounge getting access early, and then some how do you balance that with maybe some Top Shot VIPs, some set holders, and like a randomized mix? Like, how do you think that's going to shake out, or what in your eyes is like an ideal approach?
Well, I think you nailed it earlier, and I think they're going to be a little mad. I think it's going to be common stuff. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it would. I think they have to appease them, and I think it's not going to be what they're expecting. That's why I'm predicting a plummet on the NLL as soon as whatever it is they get. There'll be a little uproar, I'm sure. Phil, we're here for it, baby. And then I think there'll be a massive sell off. I mean, I think that set's going to go down to what we saw before the pre run up. But I hope not for holders, but I just think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to tell because with the Dapper wallet, it is interesting. But what you have to think of is because people did this for Ballers, right? You saw it was a fire sale when Ballers was about to go public with their sale, and everybody sold off everything they had on Top Shot. Not everybody, but people sold thousands and thousands of dollars because they didn't want to put more money into the ecosystem. They figured, you know what? Why not put some of this into some Ballers? But what someone mentioned last time is that the other side of that is that when there's like a legendary drop and packs are $900, you're going to see some of that money go back into the Top Shot ecosystem, right? At the end of the day. And it's going to be the same with the NFL. You may pull a ton out, but then when some crazy stuff comes out on Top Shot and vice versa, same thing. You may sell some NBA Top Shot stuff to go get NFL, and then you may do the vice versa and then go to Ballers and then go wherever else the Dapper wallet's going to be available, right? So it's an interesting dynamic. And I think people will just be flipping all over the place. And, at least they're spending their money within the Dapper walls and not necessarily withdrawing all their money if all they can do is go on Top Shot, right? There's other options, right?
I also want to say, and I think maybe this is to preempt that sell-off, Blake, because you're right. It could be, and like I'm saying, I really do think it's imminent. And we got Luke El Dumbo in the rafters here in the green room waiting to come up and chat. So we'll get some official info from him. But I'm just going to say, it's like you look at this Nine Lives Lounge update for December post that was put up Friday afternoon, and it's like that to me has new perks that we hadn't been confirmed before that are now confirmed, that are like ambiguously going to happen in the next couple months. That to me is like, if you're about to give the NLL their access and about to be like, okay, here the snapshot happens Sunday night. If you had NLL or if you had all the cool cats by Sunday night, you're getting in. If you didn't by Sunday night, you're not in. And you want to prevent a sell-off, you put out this blog post, because in this blog post, it says, what are the perks? It says early access to Dapper all-day platform. Great. And it says you're going to get join the Dapper Lab all-day platform within the first 2 weeks of its launching. And then it says early access to the UFC on Flow platform. I think that's the first time we've actually seen that fully confirmed, that you are going to be registered for early access to the UFC platform. We haven't even heard of UFC in like a year. And then other smaller things, swag for Nine Lives Lounge members, and that's going to happen in the next 2 months. So even more reason, it's like, don't sell your cool cats yet. Merch is coming. You're not getting it yet, but it's coming, right? So and then a few other interviews with guests,
breadcrumbs,
whatever, airdrops. So it's like it's breadcrumbs, but it's like, hey, to me that's like you're about to get access in a couple days. When that happens, don't sell yet because UFC is going to come, swag's going to come.
That's good of them to do that. Then is good.
Well, that's it. That's it, and that to me is preventative, right? To not then have a mass sell-off as soon as the NFL window closes, right? So that's kind of how I see that as a strategic move. That's what I would do.
I think it's a good point. I mean, yeah, I'm curious to hear other people's take on it as well. I feel like that's coming, but I'm happy for Quad. I hope they get more than that, just for Quad more than anybody.
Yeah, for Quad for sure. Hey, Zach's up here. Ghost, fresh off his 100th newsletter for TFM. Zach, what's up, man?
What's up, guys?
Zach, I just have to say something, man. The Bears are garbage, dude. What's going on there? Seriously, man. It's not even funny anymore, man. There's 3 or 4 teams in this league that are like borderline. You should send them down and relegate them to something else. What's happening in Chicago, man? Explain to us.
I am not a Bears fan. I will say. So I grew up a Steelers fan.
Wow. Okay, so you're happy right now, man. That was a crazy finish.
Yeah, my wife is a huge Ravens fan. I actually used to work for the Ravens, but I'm not a Ravens fan. I root for them or root against them out of spite for my wife.
Okay.
So this was a big game today, and they've been pulling horseshoes out of their ass literally the entire season. Like literally every week, they just somehow pull off some miraculous victory when they suck. So this one, I felt like it was happening again, and it didn't. So I'm happy.
You're talking when Lamar turns the ball over like 4 or 5 times a game and still wins?
Yeah, because with 2 minutes left, something crazy is happening, and they just end up pulling off a terrible win. But
listen, man, with TJ Watt in the lineup, man, the Steelers are always gonna have a chance, right? No matter what goes on. And that was like I was looking forward to this game because if you look at their record, I mean, not really close, but you know that it's always a good rivalry. And I knew this game was going to come down to the end. And what a final couple of minutes there, man. That was wild. I was watching on the side. Really excited because I wanted the Steelers to win that. So, all right, well, we can kick Chicago to the curb in that case, man. I thought you being a Chicago sports fan that you were into the Bears too, but I guess not.
No, they're garbage. So that's a team that I'm happy not to root for.
Zach, listen. You sold all your cool cats to Quad.
Yeah, so Blake, you're rooting really for my old cool cats when you say that to Quad. So
what are you thinking right now? Are you still at peace with that decision? Like after everything we're saying tonight, it might just be Commons, or are you wishing? Are we going to start like a first mint pool of people that rebuy the cool cats? Like what's going on?
I am not getting back into the cool cats. So
okay.
I'm for sure not getting back in.
Final answer.
My man.
I think that by now I probably would have ended up selling my LaMelo and Luka at this point. So my biggest regret is selling it before getting that LaMelo and holding it a little bit, because in the NFT space, that's been one of my better things. Like that's where I'm kind of the opposite of Quad, is that I tend to hold things for a very long time. So that's one of the few things that I feel like I got out on them really early. But no, I think that it's going to go down an interesting path, because I think that even though we talk about how it's healthy for the market, that these 9 Lives Lounge people might only get commons and stuff like that, which I think is true. I think that you have a lot of people with really high expectations for what they're going to get, and they're paying $6,000, $7,000 to get in that club, and I don't know if commons are going to be the answer for them.
Well, I don't know. That's it, right? Because I hope that it can find a happy medium, right? It's like I hope that there's some kind of like they get moments that no one else is going to get. But in the end, in the grand scheme of things, those moments are not the top tier moments. But I hope that they get something that no one else is ever going to get. Kind of like, think about like way back, well, actually speaking of cool cats, when all the crypto kitty holders got a Karl Anthony Towns, or got 3 of them, right? It was like, well, that was the first time ever on Top Shot that a group of people were given a moment without having to buy it in a drop or do a challenge for it. That was the first time that ever happened. And I think that would be like a nice kind of balance there of just like, all right, all the NLL people, they're getting certain moments and that's it. And then they have early access with all the other early access people to buy a bunch of commons and maybe then save the stuff for later.
Yeah.
Also, Zach, I don't know. We can kind of hear you breathing. I don't know what's going on with your mic, but it's
I was going to say, sound like
you're dragging it around, and I don't know.
Dude, what is going on, man?
Yeah, you sound like the toy from Toy Story.
The hell are you talking about?
Which Toy Story movie?
Remember Toy Story, the squeaky, when like he's all dusty and like he can't cough and like sounds like he's wheezing every time? I can't remember his name. I'll remember it.
No.
Is that better?
Nope.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's better.
Hey, I wanted to ask you guys, what did you guys think of OBJ today and that touchdown and his first Rams touchdown and the celebration that, if you know video games, was from Warzone, Call of Duty, the self-revival? Is that something you guys wanted to see in a moment? Like, this is what LG. This will be real interesting. So things like that. Will we get the touchdown and the celebration that comes after? You know what I mean, right? I'm looking at it now, and it's something I would collect that, man. I'm not a huge OBJ fan,
all that, right? We've got the list. We've got different lists of sets and stuff like that. So,
yes.
I do like that. I like that that's already been teased out of like, hey, here's kind of like a little roadmap of all the different sets you can expect. Like, I think that that's really strong in terms of the communication. So it's been really good to see that. And yeah, hopefully the team is going to pass their knowledge along to the NFL team, if it's not the exact same team, about like what people want to see, right? Because even on the NFL or NBA side, Austin and team have learned a lot from community feedback in terms of what people want to see in the video replays, right? In the actual highlights. So yeah, hopefully that's in there, right? Hopefully we get a little bit of that. Okay, guys, we're going to bring up the big gun. We're going to bring up El Dumbo, the corporation. This is Shane McMahon coming down
No
the aisle
chance.
here to coming to break things up. And Luke, what's up, man?
Yo, what is going on?
Oh,
Luke.
I thought you
it's a
were
Sunday chill
expert.
day in Colombia for El Dumbo.
Bro,
Luke, we want secrets, man.
I don't even need to give you secrets. I just need to tell you guys to read what's been said before. Do you not remember? Let me drop a link.
Oh.
I don't know who's the best person to send this link to.
Send it to me, man.
All right. So
are we gonna get a blog for NFL all day? Is there gonna be like a blog kind of thing, or what's the deal? Or is this like a tweet you're sending us?
I'm sending you. I did it via the first minute, mate. I'm sending you Roham's AMA he did with a Nine Lives Lounge, like 3 months ago, I think it was. And you can see, like, there was obviously a lot of questions there. And one of the questions, let me read it verbatim, was: Will the beta for NFL La Liga still have rare and legendary moments, or will it be restricted to commons? And Roham's words were obviously typed. Where there will be rares and legendaries, but it's possible not all the packs will be sold, i.e. a portion of packs may be held for general release. So you guys were talking about that earlier, so I think that kind of addresses it. I know it's not 100% info, but I was like, let me in, Luke, man. Why are you not seeing me?
Oh, so you waited that whole time just to come in and say that?
I got more, but you were speculating on it for like 10 minutes. And I was like, what are you speculating on? It's been said. Obviously, this was 2-3 months ago. Look, for anyone listening, so I'm on the Top Shot side of things. I work NBA Top Shot for Dapper Labs, so I'm not really involved with NFL. So, I mean, hey, this might change. I don't know. But that was what's been communicated by the boss himself. So, in terms of information to go on, seems like a decent source. A little bit better than LG, I'd say. A little bit.
Hey, is it Luke? Is this going to be along the lines of Rakeback, where it's like Roham never actually said those words, but then someone's going to turn it into the fact like something that he said like that? Is it going to be one of those?
I don't know, because I feel like he was pretty clear here. Like he said, there will be like res and legendary to some degree. I mean, it's one of those things where it's so hard to talk about when there's not even a product out there, right? So like, I think people are taking so much assumption. I mean, and that makes sense. I'm not having to go at people doing it, but they're basing so many assumptions off their own expectations. And like obviously, yeah, both of these platforms, All Day and Top Shot, are built by Dapper Labs, but they also do have different teams with some crossover, but generally different teams on them. And you talked about it yourself that when Top Shot was built, NFTs themselves were still so young, and like we can see the innovation and the rapid changes that have happened in this space in the last 12 months, in the last 6 months. So when you're talking about a new platform being made, it's being made in a very different environment and dynamic to when Top Shot was built, which is what you guys were talking about. So I think it's a hard thing to put too much weight into your preconceived expectations, even though, like, as you've talked about, Luke, you guys know how Dapper operate and you know what Dapper's MO is. So some of it you can definitely speculate on, but I think some of it you kind of have to just accept it's hard to know right now.
Yeah. How much? Hold on. I have a question. For Phil before you give your comments.
Yeah.
And it's a very easy question to answer for Dumbo. Luke, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you in the know on the NFL product?
Oh,
that's not an easy question. I mean, look, I'd probably.
What do you mean? All you have to say is a number. There's no other words. There's no sentences.
Are you in the meetings, the briefings, all that stuff?
Yeah, so like, that's what I mean. I work on Top Shot. So, but keep in mind, as you guys know, I do a lot for the NLL. So, like, if you don't include the NLL aspects, I'm like a 1, maybe a 2, right? Just because I'm friends with the people that work on it, and obviously, I might have a chat with like AJ because we have another meeting, and AJ, you guys know AJ Curry, she's doing a lot for the NFL, and she might say some stuff about it. But I'm not really in the meetings because I don't need to be because it's not affecting me. But at the same time, we obviously do share like. Say, for example, this going into the weeds a little bit, but we added recently a new bot that's actually built by one of the OS OpenSeas developers, and I've been working with him to help get this bot not only into Top Shot Discord, but to help customize it and give him some feedback. So he's an awesome guy. I don't want to name him because I don't know if he's sharing his name, but shout out to that guy. I'll probably tweet about the bot in the near future and recommend it to like every server, including the First Mint on Discord. But yeah, so like, I've been working with him. I'm obviously going to go to the community team on the NFL and be like, hey, there's this awesome bot. If you guys want it, and they might turn around like, yeah, we're planning this for Discord, and then I'm going to learn a little bit of information. But in terms of what you guys are asking, I would put it at like a 1 or 2. Obviously, with the NLL side of things, I'm much more in the know because it would be weird not to be. So like for the NLL stuff, probably like an 8, let's say, or a 7. But for NFL as a product in general, very much a 1 or 2.
Okay.
So not an easy answer, is it? Not an easy answer.
It's far more elegant when you say it than I would have imagined. So appreciate that. No, it's good to know. I mean, we're always curious, who knows what on the Dapper side and who's involved where as the team kind of grows and scales. So it's good to know that. Phil, you had some comments on everything that Luke said, though, about the Roham chat.
No. It's a real quick comment. And I just want to point out that we saw this with Top Shot, too. Something that was said 2 months ago, in all honesty, doesn't carry much value, no matter what was said. It's just things change so much. Dynamics change so much. New ideas come along and things change. That I know Roham said that back then, but like I said, I'm not holding my breath in terms of something that was said that long ago. And it's not, I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying things change. And we saw it with Jacob, a couple of things he said early. We know he wishes he didn't say because they changed along the way, right? We saw that. So I'm willing to just wait this out and see what happens. And I'm not going to hold my breath on what he said, but yeah, that's it. That was just my comment on that.
I actually think that's really fair. And I'm really glad you said that comment because I agree with you, right? I mean, like, that's super fair. I would point out the question below that was asking about a timeline for UFC. And he said, I hope to be able to share more soon, which we then did. So it goes both ways, So I definitely think that's really fair. And I would agree. And I think Roham would as well, that these things can change. And obviously when it's not like something written hard in a blog, it's different to when it's a Jacob or Roham in an AMA or an office hours. So I definitely agree that we shouldn't hold our breath on it. But I just wanted to provide it because I feel like that context wasn't being mentioned. Whereas LG was like pulling apart the email comms, for example. And I just wanted to everyone has that context. Like another thing I would touch on as well, for example, is you guys were talking about NLL and the early access aspect. Shout out LG for going through the blog. I appreciated all that. In a similar way to Crucibles, I think it's always important to remember that early access doesn't mean both first or only access. It shouldn't be assumed. I think this happened a little bit with Crucibles where people were like, oh, I'm confused because these people are in there as well and they don't have the NLL set. And that was on me for not communicating it better at the start, not realizing that. I mean, in retrospect, it's kind of obvious why people would be a little bit confused. But just keep in mind that saying the Nine Lives Lounge will get early access guaranteed within the first 2 weeks doesn't mean that other people won't be in there as well. And it doesn't mean that there might not be some people that are there before NLL members. It's not going to work like that, if that makes sense.
Okay, so hold on. So on that, I was going to look at the Roham answer, and I'm not pointing out any contradiction or anything like that. I just want to highlight it on that because the big question, I think, we're all excited about supply and what the moments are going to be and what's going to happen in the roadmap, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, everybody on the personal side selfishly wants to know, are they in or are they out, and what are they going to be able to get, right? Like that's the main thing everybody wants to know. And in that Roham question thing you sent over there, Luke, it says, hey, Roham, will NLL get early access to NFL? Yes. NLL will get the highest priority flag for NFL as well as La Liga. However, this does not mean guaranteed early access or that all NLL will get access before anyone else. Each brand team will take a variety of factors into account, including collector score and marketplace spend. There will also be slots in early access reserved for new fans of each particular brand, as well as testers who prove themselves through other means. Remember, often projects have to start with 20, 100, 1,000, or even more testers before they can let in the whole NLL.
LG to that's what I was going to speak to. So I think they're going to get this right this time because I don't know if anybody's been listening to all the chats like between the judge and NBL, but like that's the big thing. And I never even thought of it until looking back on it. The marketplace was of Top Shot was inadvertently affected by the way that those first moments are so allocated to, some people. And this is actually going to be a fair market. I'm curious to see how this market does. And hopefully they can navigate it and make it healthy right out the gate because having more, people owning is going to be good for everybody for the long run and for the early run. So I hope that, they get it right on this.
I think what I will say to that is that I think you have to really consider how much things scale in crypto and in NFTs because a year and a half ago, when people like Alexo and MBL and even people like me had access, I didn't max out my credit cards like some people did. I was very tempered approach, but some people immediately saw the potential and bought as much as they could. Back then, there was 500 people in Top Shot. And then it took months for there to be more than 1,000. And then suddenly there were 50,000, and now there's several 100,000. So it's like there was no way to know necessarily that NFTs and Top Shot would explode like that. So at the
100%.
time, the way they gave access seemed appropriate, and there was no way to know that necessarily those cosmics would be moments that were worth $1 million, but that there would also be so few other moments worth $1 million, right? However,
100%.
what I will say is that so now we're in a different climate, and yes, there's going to be maybe in the next couple of months, let's say there's 50,000 of us who get access. There's also a world, Blake, where in 18 months there are millions of people that are like, hey, it's not fair. Those 50,000 people got access before I did, right?
I
It's
hope
like
that
it can, but it can scale in that same way, is what I'm saying, right? Just because we scaled from 500 to 100,000 in Top Shot, and that seems kind of lopsided that those first 500 got a huge advantage, it doesn't mean that we can't scale from 50,000 to 5 million in Top Shot and NFL. And don't forget
That's
that
a
it's
really
like
good
long
point.
term. That's what Dapper is working towards. You listen to Roham talk. He's not talking about doing Top Shot for the how many engaged people are there on a daily basis or weekly basis on Top Shot? Like a couple thousand, a couple dozen thousand, whatever it is. But it's like the whole point of this thing is for it to be millions of people on it every day. That takes a long time. So who knows? Maybe in a couple of years, Blake, people are going to point the finger at you on Twitter and be like, hey, it's not fair. Blake had access to NFL before everybody else. And he bought all the good shit, right? Like for all you know, that's how we're gonna be set up. All of us, doesn't matter when we get access, are gonna be, laughing in a year or two, right?
Yeah, so it goes back to what Quad always says: you can't feed the squeakiest wheel, or just starts the cycle.
I don't know that saying. I never heard that one.
Oh, like yeah.
No, Blake, he doesn't say that.
I was right on the squeaky.
Who's squeaking who, man? Who's squeaking?
I don't know.
Look at Weezy
all these references. I don't know what Blake's saying tonight, man. That whole Toy Story thing, never heard of that in my life.
No.
I don't know where you're coming up with this, man. I know it's Sunday, but it's also a work day tomorrow, man.
No, I'm off Sunday, Monday, so you're wrong on that one.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is a fun night. It's a fun night tonight for Blake. Luke, I don't know if you can add any color to any of the stuff that I just said, about that scale, right? But obviously it's like, I think if we zoom out, and there's probably an optimistic message, you guys at Dapper want to send is like, hey, like it might seem unfair right now in certain ways. The market tanks some days, it goes up some other days, but in a couple years, it's the kind of stuff that hopefully is mute, right? That it's going to be much bigger then.
Yeah, so there's a few things. So I'll jump in with something that's going to sound harsh and negative, so just bear with me, people that are listening. But I love it. I'm not too worried about giving like an optimistic message, to be honest, because like we've said time and time again, we're thinking long term, we're thinking multi-generational, we're thinking 10 years down the line, right? And so like I appreciate that day to day, that is harder when things aren't going the way you want them to go as a collector, or when all day's launched, if you're not part of it yet and you feel like you're missed out because you're not the first in the door. I think in 5 years' time, people are going to be like, man, I wish I joined Top Shot in 2023, let alone 2021. That's honestly where my head's at with this. And I think, time will tell if that's the case or not. And I don't want to say something to try and drive optimism or, give hope or anything like that. I think people need to just decide for themselves if they agree with that. If you can see the multi-billion-dollar valuation that Dapper Labs have, the multiple IPs that we're working with, the speed at which our team is scaling up, and the dedication and commitment from everyone on the team, it's up to you to make that cool. And I don't think I can or should try and say anything that can be better than what I just listed is going on at Dapper right now. I mean, look, it's a Sunday night. I might be in the spaces kind of just chilling with you guys. I know there's people right now working 24/7 around the clock. I can go onto the company Slack and I see it. It's not like, oh, it's Sunday night, it's quiet, it's popping off. And I appreciate collectors like, oh yeah, but there's no Top Shot blogs going out today. We've not had an update from All Day Blog, but like behind the scenes, work's going hard. Which brings me to the scaling aspect that you talked about. And obviously you're talking more from like an external point of view. But when you look internally, I'm sure many people in here who were in Top Shot back in February and March time, you remember there was like those. Let's be frank, there was delays and unacceptable wait times in support responses, right? So you might have an account issue, you might be waiting a withdrawal, you might be trying to sign up, whatever it is, and support was slow, and to be completely frank, it was not an acceptable wait time, right? But now people can get responses in 1 or 2 days. Now we have like a world-class support team who I'm honored to work with every single day. And you're probably saying, like, why is she now the support team? Like, are you expecting problems? We want to know what the product and the engineers and the marketing guys are doing. But my point of shouting out support is because that's something people forget about. They forget what it was like and what it's like now. And it's pretty clear that with all day, as we enter the closed beta process and eventually open beta process, that support team isn't just going to go away. We're going to have this massively scaled up support team. So, 100 trained, excellent support staff are already ready and waiting to help, which is one of the reasons I think it's going to be a completely different experience for collectors, in that they are going to have faster response times. We are going to be able to launch with like maybe, I don't know, like a VIP level support off the bat, etc., etc.
Have you been asked to work Christmas Day this year?
Right, come on. I'm not asked to work a single day that I work. I just do it. Come on.
Right. You don't even work there. You don't even actually work there.
Yeah, I mean, like, why am I not getting paid? No, it's Thanksgiving, wasn't it, the other day? And it's like, I didn't look. I mean, look, I don't mind it because I love the people I work with, and when it's an American holiday, it's not normally much for me. I've just moved to a new country. I've met actually met, and I had an amazing story I'll go into another time. But I met some guys last night who saved me from getting mugged, and like. That's it. That's the extent of my friendship circle here. And it's 20 days from Christmas. So I don't have big Christmas Day plans anyway. And if me working means that, Jacob can just relax for the whole day, then yeah, I'll probably work it. I'll probably be about Christmas Day. In terms of like company wide, I don't know what the plans are there, but we're an international company and we have a range of people that don't celebrate Christmas, people that will celebrate it on a completely different time zone, people like me who are just Grinches apparently. So like, I think it'll be fine. Like there'll be I almost feel like it would just be another busy day. Just the community will be a bit quieter.
Let's be honest here, man. You're British. You'd be more of a Scrooge than a Grinch.
Nice.
Is more your style. Yeah, I could see. No, come on, man. You're a fun guy, man. We all love you, Luke, in the community. So, if you're any kind of character in the Christmas lore, you're probably someone from Toy Story, like Blake was saying. You're probably like
I don't want
Woody.
to hear Blake talk about Toy Story again. I heard him like
Woody,
like a stalker and said it's a Toy Story. I was like, this man is watching a weird version of Toy Story.
I can do the Slinky Dog pretty good. We gotta find Woody.
Oh, that is actually pretty good. Yo, fair play. That's awesome.
Very cool. We got a few other people I wanted to hear from tonight, so we're gonna bring them up and see if they got any questions or comments or anything on what we got going down. So we got Leonard, Leo Log. Leonard, what's up, man?
Hey, man. Thanks for taking up. Quick question. If you guys, considering football, right, it's really big on fantasy football, right? You don't think there's a lot of overlap with fantasy football and this new all day? I think that's going to bring a lot more popularity to this than, let's say, Top Shot, that fantasy football aspect. What do you guys think?
So you think that having like a fantasy football aspect to the moments in NFL all day would help it a lot?
That for sure, but obviously that's not going to happen day one. But in the sense of having people that are so into fantasy football from the get-go, it makes it a lot easier transition to this type of NFT, right? That's the way I think. You like the flavor plays that you see, all that stuff,
Dude, there's no saying that won't happen off the bat. And I don't know if this, I doubt Luke can say anything and he can't say yes or no, but already there's other providers, let's say, or other platforms in the space like Moment Ranks that already do, have already set up to do daily fantasy for NBA. There's Own the Moment that has already set up their entirely different kind of NFL themed fantasy game every week. So there's already kind of like an infrastructure for this. So I would hope that pretty soon off the bat, when we get the moments, that we're able to use them for some kind of fantasy thing. But I wouldn't be surprised as well if there isn't some kind of bigger deal already being worked on with, like a FanDuel or a DraftKings or something like that to fully integrate. That would be really cool. So that's a great question there, Leonard. I hope so, right? I really hope so, to bring in a lot of the fans and a lot of the participants.
Oh, wow. What about Moment Ranks with it? LG. Ooh.
Well, that's it. I know you play Moment Ranks a lot there, Blake. So, I mean, I'd assume that on there, and they're working pretty heavily on being ready for this, right? So I would expect that. Leonard, do you play a lot of fantasy football?
Yeah, I do. I play a lot of fantasy football, and it's going to be easier to have, like I commission a lot of football leagues and all that. So it's easier to bring people on board when you have that connection, right? Because fantasy football is really on the computer, right? It's very intuitive for those folks, and they know the players. So when you start getting moments for players, I don't know, some offensive lineman somewhere, it makes it a little bit more, I don't know, tangible in my mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree with you, man. I think that could be a huge part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously not going to comment either way on that specifically, but I'm just going to jump on what we talked about with MR Play. And you guys have potentially not seen, but hopefully have all seen the new thing that ML Play are doing, where they're getting the dapper balance, and you can win real, decent prizes if you're playing ML Play, which is awesome. But I think it's also it's like sort of shows that Top Shot embraces it, and we think it's awesome what they're doing. And I'm not on the NFL. I'm 1 or 2 out of 10 knowledge, but there's zero reason we wouldn't embrace and encourage the likes of Own the Moment and Moment Ranks and Live Token and Flow Market Cap and even First Mint to, actively look to help provide those third-party tools for a platform like All Day, because it's been so successful in Top Shot. I think every single person who collects on Top Shot uses tools like that.
Luke, tools? What do you mean? We don't have any freaking tools, man. Listen,
well, you're the tool. You're the tool, mate.
Ouch! Ouch!
No,
wow. Where is this going? Oh my god!
No, what I mean
is throwing out the disses, man.
The third.
Hey, Phil, do you need me to take care of him?
Oh, Stone Cold's come out. Stone Cold,
bro, come to Colombia. I'll fight you in Colombia, bro. Bring it.
Just kidding.
What I mean is though, the third parties, the wider ecosystem, and I do include First Mint in that, because you might not have like go to our website and you can check your collector score, but you do have go to our website and you can find a library of archives of discussion and interviews and thoughtful articles, probably none of them by LG, obviously, on the site. So I think it's I don't know All Day's plan again, but it would be insane to not be making that process as easy as possible for those third parties.
Awesome. Leonard, you satisfied with that answer?
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Great work.
Good to hear from you, man.
And I just want to say I totally agree that the implication of fantasy football, more so than any other fantasy sports, because it is the biggest one out there and it's got a bunch of people into football that are not typically into football, will have a huge impact. I do believe so, especially if there's integration and stuff like that. We'll see what happens. I know there's already stuff out there. Some of the NFTs we saw that kind of incorporate fantasy football, which is pretty cool. But to have it actually done via maybe NFL All Day, it will bring a whole new dynamic to this platform. I agree with that, Leonard. I think it will have a huge impact.
Mm-hmm. Very important part, absolutely. It's something that'd probably make me play some fantasy football again, right? Because Phil, you and I used to play in a lot of leagues with you and stuff like that, and no longer do. And I mean, it would be a great way for me to get involved again. Last question we're going to take, because we got to wrap out in a couple minutes here, is from Justin from Moldy Y. Not trying to pronounce it, your Twitter handle, but Justin with the cool cat. What's up, man?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
One thing I wanted to point out, because we started talking about the fantasy football conversation and sort of leaning more into like the media aspect of the NFL. I think the NFL is a totally different animal than the NBA. No knock on the NBA, but when you talk about the handle and how games are only like, now we play 17 games a season, but we're talking about fantasy football and the sports betting aspect of it. And I'm excited for Red Zone. I think Red Zone is one of the greatest inventions in sports, but I think it's going to be amazing to see the kind of integration that All Day will do with Red Zone, being able to watch Red Zone all Sunday afternoon, how they integrate it with the plays. And I think that's going to be a super exciting aspect of all of this. And we just had an awesome day of Red Zone. So I think that's going to be one of the cooler parts about it.
Wait, do you work at Red Zone?
I do not. I work at FanDuel, actually.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, you said we had a great day at Red Zone, and I was like, okay.
Oh, sorry. No, I meant collective as a football fan. But yeah,
cool. Okay.
I think the media aspect, and it's no knock on the NBA. I think the NBA has done a phenomenal job, especially the last decade or so, and how they've grown their product. But I think when you talk about the sports betting and fantasy side, the NFL is just a different animal altogether. So
I agree. I totally agree. Seriously, it really is. It's a different dynamic, and we'll see. But Justin, I have to ask you, man, I'm looking at your profile. It says you're in Pennsylvania. Who are you a fan of?
So I'm actually from the NFL. I am a Cowboys fan. So that is, yeah.
Let's go.
There we go.
So,
man. There are so many Cowboys fans out there that, you know what? It's funny because the NFL is like that. The NBA is a bit different. You look at people's profiles pictures, and the chances are wherever they're at. I mean, obviously you don't live where you were born or where you grew up, but a lot of people it connects. The NFL, man, it doesn't matter what state you're from, what state. You could even be in Dallas right now or Texas. You may not be a fan of the Cowboys, right? So that's the beauty of the fandom there. And and I want to know from you, when this opens up, what would you be looking to collect in a hypothetical world? You get access to NFL all day. What are you looking for? You want just Cowboy stuff? Are you looking for some retro Cowboy stuff? Some I don't want to say running back, but some of the older stuff with Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman. What's your vibe in terms of collecting once this platform opens?
Yeah, I mean, the stars that they currently have right now. So you're talking Micah Parsons, who's having a Lawrence Taylor esque season right now. It's phenomenal to see what he's doing, what Diggs is doing, what CeeDee Lamb's been able to do. So those are probably like my three core guys that I want to collect, especially from like the younger aspects. So any of those rookie moments. But yeah, that's the kind of in the moment right now. But obviously the triplets and stuff like that from the Aikman, Irvin, and Emmitt Smith for like those run it back or whatever they're going to call them. So yeah,
same
yeah,
stuff.
that'll be a whole different animal too. But speaking of CeeDee Lamb, LG, if you want to hear this, I don't know if you saw this, but is there any way we can collect the moment of CeeDee Lamb when he was waiting to be drafted, and his girlfriend asked him for his phone, and he gave her that look? Does anybody remember that?
Oh, I
Any
remember.
of you Cowboys
Absolutely.
I remember.
It was the
that.
best.
LG, I'm sure you didn't see this, but CeeDee Lamb was sitting with his girlfriend, and he was waiting to get the call. And she asked to see his phone, or she took it from his hands. And the way he ripped it right back out of her hands and gave her this look of death was like, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in here, and no chance. She tried to take advantage of the moment.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, she tried to take advantage of the moment that he's distracted by all this draft stuff. And she's like, give me your phone. And he went nuts, man. You got to see this video.
I'm watching it right now.
Classic stuff.
I wish we could show careful, video. Man. People personal with their phone. You got to be careful with that. You don't want to snatch a man's phone, or anybody's phone really out of their hands. So you got to be careful with that for sure. I don't know if we'll get those kind of moments though, Phil. Like a lot of stuff that's been revealed is not really as much the more lighthearted moments, but you never know. For you, you never know. Yeah. Cool. Justin, thanks for the comment, man. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Cool. We're gonna wrap it out here. People, thanks for joining. Any last comments from the folks who were up? Blake, Zach, Luke, Phil. Any last words you want to leave us with before we wrap out?
I'll go and jump in, and I'll try to be quick here. I know I like to monologue in these spots, but he talks about how does something like the All Day being released affect the Top Shot ecosystem, and nobody knows for sure. I, for one, actually am not worried at all. I'm actually quite excited for it. And part of the reason why is if you look at what's happened with Ballers, and, you look in the chat, a lot of people repping the Ballers. So shout out to all of you out there. But we've seen another project where you can use your Dapper wallet. You can use your Dapper balance, just like with Top Shot, to buy Ballers. And some people minted them and then have held them. Some people are now trying to sell them. And what they're saying is, hey, I'll trade this for Top Shot moments. And some people are like, hey, I'll trade Top Shot moments for Ballers. Just to say this, I recommend only using the marketplace, always to be secure and safe, obviously. But, just covering myself there. I don't want anyone to get in a trade and be mad at Luke because he said that on the spaces. But that is happening. Those trades are happening. I don't see why the NFL All Day would be any different. I think some people are going to, rip open a legendary pack All Day. They're going to get a legendary moment. They're not going to love it that much. They're going to be like, oh, but this is worth the same as like that Top Shot legendary moment that I really like. So I'm going to trade it for that, or I'm going to sell it and buy that. And I think we'll see that happen. And I actually think it's really exciting because this is a one wallet sort of situation. And I think we're going to really see that sort of explore a whole new range for moments to be traded and collected with the intention of then collecting and trading them for another platform's moments. So that's just my thoughts anyway.
It'd be even nicer as a trade feature.
I don't think trade across it would exist like on product, but keep in mind with legendary moments now being withdrawable, and we've said that's going to happen to all moments across the board. I don't know if the NFL team want to do the same, but it's kind of the Daft Labs philosophy. I think this time next year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, depending on how like closed beta goes and whatnot, we could see a third party platform say, hey, you can withdraw any All Day or Top Shot moments, and we're going to have a trading platform within it. I think that's very likely.
Looking for that third party.
Token will do that, something crazy.
I love that. Yeah. Well, let's hope we see it, man. I like any kind of expansion of what we can do with the NFTs. I think would be great. Like stuff that we can do primarily with NFTs like that would be really cool. So hopefully, the same way that Top Shot inspired like a whole generation really of creators and platforms and all that kind of stuff. Maybe NFL will inspire an entirely different cohort of people like that to build some really interesting tools, especially probably more agnostic to how the NFL product will be different than Top Shot. So hopefully we get that as well, man.
For sure. And very, very last comment for me. If anyone out there does want to, if you know someone that's trying to build on these platforms, if you know someone who wants to build something for all day, or you're trying to, be it, the next first mint or the next live token or the next moment ranks, like feel free to reach out if you want any help or advice and support. Like we're all about those third parties, and we're, LG will hopefully agree that we've always helped and supported the first mint. And I think that goes for anyone out there who's trying to build on this space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Phil D, any last thoughts?
Yes, Bills Mafia tomorrow night. Don't miss that game. It's going to be a huge one against New England. So that's for the division lead. I'm super stoked. Can't wait. The last time I remember, the Bills have been on Monday night since. But if you look through my pictures, LG, this. It was my profile picture for a long time, way back in the day. And it's in all my picture albums on social media. I went to the Bills and Cowboys ages ago. Like one of the craziest games of all time, where the Bills had a gigantic lead on the unbeaten Dallas Cowboys until the Dallas Cowboys kicked the winning field goal.
I remember that
as time expired. Yes, and the Cowboys, I think, were 10-0 at that point.
Yes,
right.
Yes, that was one of our best seasons, man. We were so good, and you guys were whooping us, and Romo led us all the way back.
And it was freezing out there. I went shirtless. I painted my entire body in a Bills jersey, and had the time of my life. So pretty stoked for that. Stoked for this entire project, man. And I can't wait to see what kind of news. I really hope, LG, that you're right and we get some news in the next couple of days, and maybe even some access to the closed beta. But I still have a feeling it's a couple more weeks away. But hey, maybe I'm wrong.
LG, last thing I was going to say.
Yeah, please, Blake.
I just think 2022 utopia I wanted to share is All Days Out, Top Shots thriving, All Days thriving, and Ballers are the official PFP of Dapper and of the Flow blockchain. I think it's going to be nothing but a good year for us, y'all.
Wow, I like it. Enthusiastic, man. Love to hear that, especially as the year wraps out here and we have a lot of new stuff coming. It's it's good to have that positive energy as things come out. And I'm just going to comment on what Phil said, that it's don't forget what Top Shot has been doing lately. Sending people to games, creating community, having events. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you want to come right out of the gate with, here's some utility for the NFL moments. It's like, send some people to Super Bowl, man. Like, give a bunch of people early access and do a draw of people that are on the wait list or something like that and send somebody to the big game. It might even
be the Pro Bowl, like we saw Bamboo Rats.
Sure, whatever, man. I don't care. I'll go to the Pro Bowl. Like, I don't care. It doesn't have to be Super Bowl, right? Like, just go to something. So they might come out of the gate, now they've kind of figured that they've cracked that nut for doing it on Top Shot, worked out how they can do it easily. So, you never know. We might see some of that really early on NFL. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Everybody who came up to ask questions. Good to hear from you guys. Everybody who listened in. Thanks for hanging with us. And we'll have to do it again. Phil D, we'll have to do another one of these maybe next week when we get a bit more info, or maybe this week as things start to drop. So
there's always been a void, LG, between the last afternoon game and the Sunday night football game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I never know what to do with my time between those games. Mm-hmm. And this hit the spot. So absolutely.
Beauty.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, maybe we'll run it back next week. Okay. Cheers. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.